need to. Lastly, the very last chair.
I think, Chair.
Suba, you're putting me in a tight
spot. Chair,
now you must stop.
Chair, I understand, and we have been patient. I was to appear before you at 2. So reciprocate my patience also, Chair. With the
30 seconds, Suba. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and I'm looking at my watch.
Exactly. I would have failed in my responsibility and appearance here if I did not raise the attention of the committee to a law that was passed by the 12th Parliament and assented to by the late Mwai Kibaki, the 4th President of this Republic, the 3rd. On 13th of February 2013, that law is called the Public Benefits Organizations Act and was meant to repeal the NGO Coordination Act. For the entire period that Jubilee, that a number of you are part of, was in power for 10 years, they sat on that law claiming that it is the civil society that took them to The Hague. The Kenya Kwanza administration, in its manifesto, promised to implement the Public Benefit Organizations Act. It is more than a year since Kenya Kwanza came to power. That law has not been implemented. The NGO sector tracks to this economy 180 billion in the last financial year. More than this Kenya's gold that we see on TV, tea and coffee combined. Add even, maua and so on from Naivasha.
Okay, Suba, thank you.
So we are calling on this committee to pick up this issue and remind the Kenya Kwanza administration that a promise is a debt and it must be paid.
Thank you, Suba. Yes, Senator.
Thank you. I want to thank the presenter. I have a question for him, one or two. He, speaking to the issue, Suba, of the various models for appointing IBC commissioners. You say there is a government model, the independent, and a mixture of the two. It is your argument then that the current model, according to you, and I don't agree with you, is a government model. But then I want to say, if it is a government model, then it must be a very good model, because if a government model can result in the loss of an election by the government of the day, then isn't it such a good model? Because what else will you be looking for other than a commission that, according to you, is appointed by government of the day, but still goes ahead to conduct an election where that government loses? Isn't that what we are looking for? Second and last question to him, Chairperson. I have listened to you on the issue of demonstrations. Perhaps you will help us, because there are two contestations. When you listen to people that speak like you, either on your side or from the side of our colleagues across the table, on the right to picket and demonstrate, they feel as if it is a right that is absolute with no limitation, despite the fact that in going about your duties or your demonstration and picketing, sometimes you interfere with the rights of other Kenyans. What is the nexus, or at what point should government seek to interfere so as to ensure that as you go about your rights, you don't interfere with the rights of other Kenyans? Because you have pointed out and said that there are certain regions where demonstrations are allowed. And I'll point to you a simple example. When the Nyamakima traders wanted to present a petition to Parliament earlier on this year, I saw them. Where I sit in my office is on the first floor Parliament building. And they came, made all the noise that they could, and were allowed to present that petition. Later on, when there have been subsequent demonstration, there have been confrontation. And when you ask, why is it the case? He says, for example, the demonstrators that are being interfered with are stopping about those who want to go about their duties. If there is a car and they have blocked the road, they don't allow them to drive. They pickpocket other people. Therefore, what mechanisms have other jurisdictions, as you've said, you're a well-traveled man, have they put in place to ensure that citizens of those countries enjoy these rights and they live freely together? Those who want to picket, those who don't want, they mix so that you have a beautiful country, because that's the picture that you want to paint for us. It will be good to hear from you on that.
And perhaps even as he continues, you said that you've you have monitored elections in many African countries. Actually, you mentioned 28. Yes. 28 of them. In the case of Kenya, and this was mentioned earlier by Felix, that between 1992 to 2022, the only time there were no issues after elections was 2002. Do you see a constant political factor in all those elections, and what do you deduce out of it? Constant election factor, political factor in all those elections, and only one was peaceful, free, and fair. Is it possible that elections are only free and fair when a particular person wins?
Oh, it's not on the ballot. And then just to support, to advance that, what particularly Senator Cheriot said, listening to some of the presentations made, especially those that appear to be casting aspersions on the victory of Kenya Kwanza, including the just concluded presentations from part of our coalition adversaries. A government that is probably one of the strongest units in our history, of a sitting president and one of the senior most opposition leader in the country, is beaten in every aspect, from tallying to collection of results to declaration to monitoring to every aspect, then I can tell you without a doubt that election is either foolproof or that government was too whatever. Number two, to Kemuntu, I used to have a lot of contempt for politicians when I was in the civil society. So much contempt until the day I ran for an election. It is so hard to get elected. These people face unforetold perils in the search for those votes. Nyoro is just right there behind you. He will tell you how hard it is to get elected. I myself am testimony, especially if you are running in a place which is not a stronghold. They are members of parliament for whatever they are worth. They represent us in parliament. They have spoken to these bills and made them law. At what point are the citizens heard? Because I think these are institutions of government that work side by side. There are processes that are put together. So why would you think that MP, even in the minority, we could just say that these are majoritarian, and therefore all of us now go for demonstrations. We don't accept these taxes. To hell with all the institutions that we created.
Suba?
Yes, thank you very
2
much.
minutes?
Yes, yeah. First of all, I want to say that the common factor in all these elections where there have been issues is rigging and manipulation of the vote. Rigging and manipulation of the vote.
By the way,
not even the
Suba,
person you are talking about.
so that we can deal with Omar and my sister here, this one constant factor we keep on talking about. They should realize, just for their benefit, that the Supreme Court in its wisdom in 2017 agreed with that one factor.
Exactly.
In that one instance.
So that you be fair.
In that one
I don't think we're here.
In
These
any case-
issues are so big. Yeah, I was the running mate in 2013 and 2017. I can tell you that we beat the government side.
Exactly.
All right?
Well,
This is why we're here, to deal with stolen elections, the culture of stolen elections. If we keep on aggrandizing ourselves on how easy, how difficult the whole thing was. I mean, Suba, you should not feel intimidated. Speak the truth.
Suba, I wouldn't intimidate you. You're
I
my
can't
chairman.
be intimidated.
You are my chairman.
I was your chair in the students' government. You were
That
my
was your vice chair, yes.
And then we co-chaired the technical committee. But the point I want to make, and in response to what Hassan has said a bit in a low tone, in the 2002 elections that you seem to be referring to, The gentleman you seem to be referring was not even a candidate. Yet elections were free and fair, and everybody accepted them as such. And so I want to demonstrate to you that if we could avoid, and you see there is this notion that the current president was not in government. Yet he earned salary as deputy president up to the month of September. I mean, who recruited the Chebukatis of this world? No. I can tell you the intrigue. Chebukati was second last. How he even became chair of the commission is a mystery that we need to investigate. In all recruitment processes, the top three can do the job. How did the second last person become the chair? That is manipulation that happened.
Maybe you can furnish us with
and
that
that is the openness we want in the recruitment process moving forward.
Report that Chebukati was last in the second last.
Second last, and we know even the points. If you want me to tell you,
us with that report.
We know even the points.
Furnish us with that report. In fact, we hold you to that. We will wait for that report.
We know even the figures.
Where later your report.
And we know even how people said, you know, this Akombe, how good do you think she is? We know even the debates that went on. And so don't tempt us.
I'm tempting. We are tempting you
Suba,
to bring that report.
Suba, don't also try and intimidate us. And I want to kindly request that.
Of the civil society will not get you anywhere.
Excuse me, sorry. I kindly want to request that we don't go the route we are going.
Exactly.
Because I don't think
peddling
unsubstantiated. Yeah. So Suba, yes. I know you can be a real politician. Please be a civil society professional right now.
Chair.
Avoid getting into politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could equally come here and peddle all manner of stories about what we know or what we know in the sense of what Suba is saying about what happened to Chebukati. But we have chosen to rise above that. We want to stick to issues. So I want to request him to please spare us the innuendos and the